For more on this, Jack Nicas is my guest, a reporter for the New York Times. He is on the ground in Paradise, California. Jack, thank you for taking the time. You're in front of a neighborhood church where people are sheltering, of course, in place. What's happening where you are? What can you tell us?
Well, it's still very smoky. I just took off my gas mask or my respirator here for a moment to do the interview, but the air quality is quite bad. We're just a few miles from Paradise, which was destroyed on Thursday. I drove through there yesterday, and it's really a tour of destruction and scorched earth and many destroyed homes and businesses. And the sheer scale of it is difficult to imagine. And so now what we're happening is in Paradise, authorities are really on a search and rescue operation, although the rescue part of it, they're not too optimistic at this point, given how many days it's been. But they're trying to go through the rubble, and they have said they still have a ways to go. And still 228 people are missing. And for many of the folks who are displaced, they are in shelters like this one, just trying to get a warm meal and a place to sleep, and also a donation for clothes because many people lost everything they had.
Jack, as you're speaking, we're going to show our viewers some live pictures in and around where you are. You're in Paradise, and some of these pictures are coming into our newsroom here of some of the flyovers going on as they try to contain this fire. You talked about the scope of it, and I gather this must be hugely difficult in trying to get people out of some of the danger zones, trying to get them to safety. What have you seen on that?
Sure. So what we've realized is on Thursday there was a scramble to get out of Paradise and to safety. But the problem was there really is one main road out of town, and this was an extremely fast-moving fire. And so what we had is people basically, they did what they were supposed to do. They got in their cars and they fled, but then they hit traffic, and people were trapped, for in some cases hours, and in some cases people had to abandon their cars and start walking. And then you had abandoned cars in the roadway, which exacerbated the entire problem. So this was a really harrowing scene for hours on Thursday morning as people were just trying to get out of town.
Can I ask you as well about the containing of the fire? We talked about, to a certain extent, authorities are trying to contain them down in the southern part in the Woolsey fire. Mm-hmm. They've done that 20%. What about where you are? What are you hearing?
They still have a ways to go here. This fire is still raging. I believe it's about 25% contained, they said last night, so there's still a lot of work to do, and the conditions are not cooperating. It remains extremely dry. We haven't had a good rain up in this part of California for months, for many months, and it also, over the past several days has been fairly windy, and that, of course, helps the fire to spread. Yes, this has been a challenge for authorities, and in the meantime, the firefighters are trying to fight the fires, and the authorities are trying to search through the destroyed remains for any survivors or remains.
Those people who are still missing, and I know the number has been fluctuating, Jack, but we're hearing about 200 or so. Any updates on that?
So they announced last night that the death toll has risen by 6 people to 29. That ties it for the deadliest fire in California history. But there are 228 people still missing. And the issue is they haven't gone through most of Paradise. And so the hope is that many of those people are just kind of unaccounted for, and they're maybe in a shelter, or they haven't reported back or connected with their families. But, authorities, of course, worry that they're going to find more bodies as they continue to go through town.
Jack, thank you so much for taking the time. I know it's really busy. We'll let you get your mask back on because of all the smoke, and stay safe, please.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.